damn self. And if you can look in the mirror every single night and be totally happy with yourself, that makes you even more of a sociopath. So that's sad. Okay, let's dive into this. Sorry, vegans. Is that even okay to say? That is not meant to come off insensitive in the slightest.
Hi everyone, it's me again, and Squish Gang is of course present as always. And today we're going to do a really fun video. We're going to do the Rhetoric of Amberlynn Reid. This has been one that's been requested in my comments here and there for quite a long time actually. So I thought it'd be a really good time to talk about it. First, some housekeeping, and don't worry, there will be chapters below. I want to thank everyone for the support. We had a really fun live stream on Friday for my 6K subscriber special. I want to shout out Rez and Brianna. Rez for getting me money to get a webcam so my streams aren't absolutely awful. And Brianna for sending me this pop filter from my Amazon wishlist. That was very sweet of them, and I'm very thankful because now I can solely implement upgrades to the channel. If anyone wants to get anything, the Amazon wishlist is down below. I also added some rhetoric books there. Not necessarily for you to like purchase for me, but they're also just books that I recommend or that I've heard from that seem to be quite good. If you yourselves wanted to read up about rhetoric as well. I want to remind everyone to like, comment, subscribe if they so desire. And let's get right into it. Before that, actually, also, this eye look I did on TikTok, little Valentine's Day theme, that will be linked down below with my socials as well. I made a video recently called Canadian Menaces Part 1, Foodie Beauty. And I talked a lot about what's called the Girlverse. The Girlverse being Amberlynn, Chantel, 1,000 Pound Sisters, Amy's Life Journey, and Life by Jen. Now, I kept mentioning Amberlynn Reid as the biggest member of the Girlverse in the sense of like subscriber base. That's what we're going to talk about today. So Amberlynn Reid is approaching, if not by now, have already hit 200,000 subscribers. This rabbit hole I fell into after watching the Right Opinions video on Amberlynn, which was very long. It was like 2 hours plus. I remember I used to work as a sample lady, and I would listen to like podcasts and stuff while I worked because I would just stand for hours. And I listened to that whole video, and it was just, after that I was like, I need to know who this is, and the YouTube recommendations obviously aided in that as well. Amberlynn Reid started as like a very soft-spoken, young weight loss channel, starting the channel at 22. For reference, I'm gonna turn 22 later this year. Amberlynn Reid's first video was in November of 2013. She started as solely a weight loss channel with a couple of vlogs in here and there. Amberlynn has become infamous on the YouTube sphere, not for being a successful weight loss story, but rather for gaining 200 pounds on their weight loss journey. So now we have to get into the details of that, along with the rhetoric of how this happened and the cycles that have occurred. Because there's this thing that the reaction community and the Girlverse community, or what have you, call the cycle that Amberlynn Reid goes into, which I will elaborate on as one of the parts of the video. So, parts of the video, we have part 1, who is Amberlynn Reid, and why is her reputation the way that it is? Part 2, analysis of the Amberlynn Reid cycle, and where she would be right now in that cycle. Part 3, a overall rhetoric breakdown. If you want to go straight to the breakdown, that will be chapter down below. So, who is Amberlynn Reid? I'm reiterating that I said that Amberlynn is someone that started as a weight loss channel with vlogs, with our first video that is still on the channel being called Nervous plus Awkward plus Weight Loss Vlog, posted November 17th, 2013.
So my name is Amberlynn. I'm 22 years old. It's Sunday right now, and today was nothing but eating horrible. I've been on a weight loss journey for a very, very long time now. Last time I weighed in was, I think about a week ago. I was at 368.
And she said that she weighed in at about 390 pounds. Amberlynn is typically associated with Eris, relating to the relationship, one of the many public relationships she's been in on her channel. So this time frame, of the November of 2013, was Crystal was the girlfriend that Amberlynn had. There is another relationship that you hear about here and there after a person now who's now goes by Casey, but that is not really what I'm going to get into because a lot of allegations and issues there that are beyond kind of my scope of understanding, and that are very heavy topics. I'll put the trigger warnings at the beginning because I forgot to put them in now. But that Right Opinions documentary, I believe Jay Aubrey has one too. If not, I know lots of other people have videos on it. You can kind of look into the whole Casey thing yourself if you so desire. Right at the gate, we can tell that there are a lot of intense codependencies, the issues that Amberlynn Reid has. Because I was watching some of the shorter videos at the beginning of her channel just today to kind of research and look into it. Because I only got into Amberlynn Reid in like 2019. Which this video was called Girlfriend Shows a Little Bit More of Herself Plus Miranda Sings. Which is Amberlynn Reid is talking about there's like a thunderstorm. And she says, I am never without my girlfriend. I am literally never alone. And this is so scary to me.
Sitting downstairs by myself right now, which I'm never by myself. My girlfriend's always with me, but she's upstairs right now. And it is so windy outside. It's like freaking me out. I'm not very good with scary weather. But I mean, it is like really windy. I'm scared. I don't like being by myself.
So like she's saying that like she's anxious at the idea of just being by herself, and that there's like no ability to kind of tend to her, be independent on her own. And the thing is like, while people might say, you know, you should want to be with your partner, relationship, yada yada yada. Look at the channel. All you see is like relationship after relationship after relationship, and these like very narrow times in between each one of them, and a lack of established independence. And it's been almost 10 years of like constant rotating relationships for Amberlynn Reid, which I personally think is a little bit of an issue when people don't have the capacity to tend to themselves or be alone, but take with that what you may. So as I mentioned, there was a relationship with a person named Casey, and there are like, I think re-uploaded live streams where they're talking about that whole ideal, where Amberlynn Reid was kind of essentially refusing to acknowledge Casey's transition, saying, well, when I dated them, they were a girl, and that was my girlfriend. Since then, there's been some comments here and there, maybe that they were wrong, but very little acknowledgement on that whole front. A lot of the videos have been deleted. This isn't a one piece of the backlash that Amberlynn Reid had gotten over her career. Over time, mukbangs came onto the channel, but with that came this like trolling aspect as well.
And I was like, oh my god, that looks so good. Rotisserie chicken is one of my favorites ever. I'm so weird. I love this part. There's just so much flavor in it. Everyone I know is like, why do you eat that part? My whole thing is like, this is, first of all, this is my life. I'm an adult. I can choose what I want to do versus what I don't want to do. And like another big thing is like, just because you are seeing one meal out of the, what, 15 I have in a week, how is that going to decipher everything? Do you get what I'm saying? And there are skinny mukbangers out there. They don't gain weight at all. There have been mukbangers out there who have lost weight. It is a thing. It's not something that's crazy. It's easy to gain weight doing it, obviously, but it's also not that hard to lose weight while doing it. So, I know you guys know Foodie Booty, whatever, it's hard to pronounce, Chantel. And she's kind of where I'm at right now, where it's just like, we're over, I don't want to put words in her mouth, but I have talked to her privately, and I do watch her videos. We're kind of just over people only supporting us when we're doing what they want us.
Because people were noticing a lot of substantial weight gain, and a lot of increased mukbangs, and people were kind of wondering, you know, maybe Amberlynn is gaining weight because of these mukbangs, maybe these are inciting like certain like binge eating or something along those lines. And there's a lot of really famous ones that are within the Girlverse when people talk about her, such as the bowl of cereal, like this eat a bowl of cereal with me or something like that, eating a bowl of cereal. There's like a fried chicken KFC mukbang. There's a sushi mukbang. There's the Panera Bread mukbang getting off of Jenny Craig. There's the famous one called Shrimpgate, which is a whole thing where this is kind of one of the instances of Amberlynn kind of showing an animosity towards her audience and this very disrespectful attitude towards everybody else. And then there's also the eating a whole rotisserie chicken mukbang. As you just heard, I mentioned Jenny Craig, getting off Jenny Craig Panera Bread mukbang. troll thing. And this is because Amberlynn Reid is also known for many failed diets and also many criticisms towards weight loss professionals. Failed mukbangs such as Jenny Craig, Weight Watchers, Octavia, calorie counting, intermittent fasting, advice from weight loss doctors themselves, tracking on MyFitnessPal. This is where the cycle comes in, because Amberlynn will be like, this diet is the best thing since sliced bread. Everyone who's on it is a success story. I'm going to be successful as a result, and you guys are all going to be wrong for doubting. And then we'll proceed to fail the diet coming forward after that point, which this kind of creates this constant circle where, as of the last couple of years, Amberlynn Reid keeps gaining and losing the same 80 to 100 pounds or so. But then when she's in the position of losing the weight, we'll weaponize that against other people. But once people go, well, what are you doing now? You gained all the weight back, says you're making fun of my eating disorder. And Amberlynn Reid, in these cycles, becomes very antagonistic towards her fan base, with one of the most famous, like, fight backs of Amber's, or clapbacks, as one might say, being this, like, Snapchat story where she calls her haters despectful pieces of shit.
These people are weak-minded. And that is the reason why it is so easy for them to come for me. Because like I've said before, I am easy to hate. It is friend to hate me. Whoever can hate me the most gets the most thumbs up. And that's fine. It's because you are weak yourself. You are not happy within your life, and you are a despectful piece of shit.
It's just the way that she pronounced it, but she had these like acrylic nails on and decided to like adopt like a whole new personality. This one's commented a lot in the Girlverse because it was one of the most like iconic moments for a long time. So part 2, what is the cycle itself? So this is like a diagram that I found on Google. I keep seeing people talk about it and put it up in their videos. They don't really like dive that deep into it, so I want to go over that. I don't know where it comes from. I would assume like Kiwi Farms or something. You can find it on Google. If anyone knows where it originated, please let me know. It might be Reddit or something. I'm not sure. So there's 4 cycles. This is called Amberlynn's YouTube Cycle of Futility. Part 1, or section 1 of the 4, I'll keep it up as well, is redemption. Weight loss plan, RE, hashing / retrying old weight loss approaches that did not work before, freshly washed hair. This is because Amberlynn has really long hair, and when she's in like a bad position and she feels like her fans are kind of against her, she'll often say like, I haven't washed my hair in a while. Kind of a weird like lore piece of the whole ordeal. Somewhat regular weigh-ins. Right now she's actually doing like 100 days of weighing in. So claims new attitude and mindset, new purchases, water bottles, Fitbits, books, etc. Which right now it's Legos. Attempts at physical exercise, meal prep and planning. Acts that this is indeed a weight loss channel. And then in square brackets, exercise, cook, shop, or something like that with me. Section 2 is called ignorance. This reads, trips to Walmart, just because of the way like Amberlynn Reid says things, so they spell it in the way that she pronounces stuff. Trips to Walmart, Target, running errands, hair begins to look greasy, car view footage plus music / driving around. That's just different because of COVID. Going out to eat, playing test kitchen with the rest of her cast, zero mention of her weight loss goals and plans, clickbait titles, storytime videos, social functioning with central focus on eating / a restaurant, girlfriend tag if applicable, overall 10-minute videos of nothing. Okay, I've never, like, I thought I read all of it when I was reading it the first time, but like, I missed a couple of the little points, and this is like actually nuts. Section 3 is called indignation, fast food / junk food mukbang, hair at near peak greasiness, addressing the haters / comments, torrid hauls, weight loss goal finally addressed, she has abandoned them, haters blamed for weight gain tragedy, her attitude giving up / disease, I have binge eating disorder, shopping goes into overdrive, I'm just being honest / completely raw / real with you guys, continues eating of huge amounts of garbage. And section 4 is called manipulation, crying, hair caked with grease and dandruff, I can't do this, I don't know how I let this happen, misleading titles suggesting accountability, taking zero accountability, claims of needing to take me time, my depression / anxiety / binge eating past, I'm so grateful for girlfriend supporters / YouTube, and then YouTube hiatus. So right now, Amberlynn Reid is back to trolling. Trizzy made a video that Young Dumb Honeybun reacted to, that's the one I watched, and I think, Alex Ashok like does a lot of these different live streams, but he talked about as well, that there's like Amberlynn's gone back to trolling and is like, no, trolling is fun as fuck. Like, I really enjoy it. It's like the vibe.
Not look at me as a role model. I am obsessed with being the troll queen.
What happened was Amberlynn Reid had been like losing weight for a few months, had been like tracking or whatever. But losing for a few months, he had only 80 pounds from 570 pounds, which, give or take, like, losing weight is difficult. I totally get that. And it's good that she's losing the weight in the first place, right? But the fact that one, it's the same 80 pounds over and over and over again, and she's weaponizing against people. Two, it's 80 pounds in like 8 months since last July. So yeah, that's 8 months, I think. For someone her size is not very good. There's like kind of an element of manipulation that comes with it. So she had been losing the weight for a little bit. She had like new wifey coming in, and wifey's gonna help me and is so fit herself, and I'm cooking and blah blah blah. So that was phase one, which I argue ended around Christmas time, around December, AdSense month, as we all know. That's also where regular weigh-ins began. New purchases, Legos. She's gotten into Legos, adult Legos. That was last year. Attempts at physical exercise, meal prep and planning. She was saying that she was cooking and all these different types of things. So in that video where Amberlynn Reid admits to trolling, she said like that she's back into trolling. She says that she's like in a phase 2 moment.
Question, as you said, the cycle doesn't exist any longer. Do you really feel you are still in phase 1? So if we're going based off of the phase chart, the cycle chart, the chart that Hater Nation created, it does look like I'm going through the cycle. It does look like I am kind of in the mixture of like a phase 2 moment, maybe a phase 3. So I wouldn't say that I'm in phase 1. Jokes aside though, I hate this whole cycle phase situation because you guys, it almost is like I'm being mocked for my mental illness, which is frustrating because it's also like, wow, I'm also being mocked because of my eating disorder, which has been happening a lot lately. And
right now, which would be, you have to keep in mind because of COVID, there's not going to be the Walmart trips or the car view footage or the going out to eat. But the playing test kitchen with the rest of her cast, you can see in grocery hauls that there's like wifey in the background. Clickbait titles for sure. I'll put a couple of them here. As well as like story time videos or like I just need to chat. Those ones are in this section as well. And overall 10-minute videos of nothing. Most of these clickbait videos are Amberlynn Reid like unpacking groceries for like 10 minutes, or like one of them was like organizing her closet.
yes. So this is my closet and it's kinda crazy a bit. I wanted to show you guys like before and like maybe like the process of me cleaning it, because we are going to be cleaning this, me and y'all. I think the
very boring, dry content with minimal editing. So she says that she's in a phase 2 moment. I argue that she's actually deep in indignation. So fast food / junk food mukbang. Amberlynn Reid had recently had a day of eating off track where she ate 5,000 and some hundred calories in a day. Where she had Arby's, she had McDonald's, she had a... Canada doesn't have Sonic, but it was some sort of like milkshake thing that's like like 2,000 calories. It's like this big. I'm not laughing at the eating. I'm just like, how does that thing even exist? But
okay, so I had a chocolate peanut butter yasso as the first thing, and then I ordered this like open faced turkey cheesy onion sandwich, some like cheesy and steak-y fries. It was pretty tasty. Then I got some Starbucks. This is just a chai tea.
sip on, but I ordered Arby's. I got a large Diet Coke. I think I've had Arby's like a couple times in my life, so we'll see if I actually like this place. So, large curly fry. That's good. So good. I got a mac and cheese.
so it wasn't like directly a mukbang, but she's been eating in the videos things like ramen and other things like that. Addressing the haters / comments in her most recent video where she says, I'm in my feels. She says that the 80 pounds that she lost in 2020 was because of cancer. When you look back at those videos, Amberlynn Reid is carefully tracking everything, and everything seems to actually be well as far as her showing it. And she admitted in the past that she said in the past that it wasn't because of the cancer and everyone was terrible for saying it was the cancer, but now has flipped the script that it was. Whether it was or wasn't isn't necessarily our business or anything to reflect on, but it's interesting because she's claiming that one of the most successful eras in the recent past, where she seems to have been tracking and was eating pretty well, the food seemed pretty balanced. All of a sudden, it's, no, you're terrible for thinking that was good because I had cancer, which is like very manipulative. That almost tips into the fourth section of manipulation. But torrid hauls, we've had a couple of those recently. Weight loss goals finally addressed. She has abandoned them. She mentions in that video, I'm in my feels, that she's been like messing up constantly lately. Haters blamed. Yes, so when she's talking about how we're terrible people because we're saying that when she seemed to have been on track and doing things properly from an objective perspective, that it was because of cancer, and that we are saying that she should be sick and starve herself to succeed in the diet, which was not the idea at all. And people had the correct assumption to think that it wasn't because of the disease, given that you yourself stated that it wasn't. I have binge eating disorder. Oh my god, in the trolling videos, like, people are making fun of my eating disorder a lot lately. Shopping goes into overdrive, things like that. We don't really know about the shopping, a lot of groceries and like Uber Eats, but I think the new girlfriend is like a little bit on not like kind of getting her to not be so maximalist. I'm just being honest, completely raw, real. I'm in my feels, chatting about myself. All these video titles, I'll put them up as well. And yeah, continues eating a huge amount of garbage. The ramen noodles, the filet of fish, the McDonald's, the Sonic, the Arby's, all that pretty recently. Because I don't think we're at manipulation yet. I see it coming pretty soon. I'm surprised it didn't happen in January. Well, it kind of did, because there was a couple weeks, but allegedly Amberlynn was sick, so I'm not going to say that was in that area, but we'll see, like, if there's like a hiatus or something coming soon. But there's definitely like, it's teetering, I think. So Amberlynn says she's in a section 2 moment. I think we're in a indignation moment myself. So that's the cycle. And I think right now we're in 3, if not at the border of 2 and 3. I want to continue on about this, right? So I want to preface that this was made by like a pretty notoriously aggressive community. Like, Amberlynn Reid's community is not known for being nice to her. So that's kind of why like some of the phrasing seems has high animosity. However, Amberlynn Reid has also demonstrated a blunt and forward disrespect towards her audience, and kind of feeds into this like infighting and just shitting on each other all the time. And actually, Obese to Beast made a video about this when Amberlynn's like, I have no responsibility as to why my audience is this way. You guys are all just terrible, and that's why you're like this. And again, like I said, if anyone wants to tag the cycle, like, let me know, because I don't know who made it, but I want to credit them. I just don't know where it came from. I just pulled it up on Google, and it was just like Amberlynn Reid cycle photo. So now we're going to get to part 3, which is the rhetoric of Amberlynn. And we're going to talk about what's called the 5 canons of rhetoric. These are the 5 aspects of rhetoric, which I learned them in Latin, but people get mad at me when I mispronounce Latin words, which is fair. So we're going to read them in English this time, which is invention. I can't even do it in English. Invention, arrangement, style, delivery, and memory. Invention meaning determination of topics and supporting material. 2, arrangement, structure of the speech. Style, use of language to create a desired effect on the audience. Delivery, presentation of the speech involving verbal / non-verbal aspects. And 5, remembering what to say in a speech. Amberlynn's determination of topics tends to be a victim perspective manipulated by an audience that has triggered a disorder to a level that it is at now, that she should profit off of due to the structure of the audience that she has gathered. Seems to be something along those lines. The arrangement are video format. At one point was live stream format, but now it's like edited short form content. The style, Amberlynn is very you statement, not I statement. Or if I statement comes, it is followed by a hedging of that I statement towards somebody else. The delivery is very antagonistic, very angry, very like in the form of like talking down to people. And then the memory is interesting because the biggest issue with Amberlynn's channel is she can't keep up with her own bullshit and forgets that she lied about something and will cycle back to it and be like, oh, I mean, I'm in it now, or oh no, you lied, or whatever. There's literally a video called reacting to me lying. So in the 5 canons of rhetoric and the components of speech, there's a thing called stasis. And I'm tagged the book down below, by the way, that I'm reading from. It's a textbook. You can buy it on Amazon, I think. Well, that's the link I have, if I remember correctly. But stasis. It was necessary to understand the issues involved in the situation under critique. And for this, the ancient theorists developed the idea of stasis. The word stasis means stopping point, or place where two rhetors may disagree about a particular issue. The idea of stasis most developed in Cicero's work. He claimed that stasis was useful for issues of disrupted among all of the issues disputed among people, including legal disputes or discussions of policy. So when we're talking about stasis, right, what's the point that we stop? This is where Amberlynn Reid's rhetoric is such a unique place, because there seems to be no stopping point. And this is why things and perceptions have become as warped as they are now, right? Because we go into the parts, like characteristics of rhetoric, like what makes rhetoric, right, is 4 parts. Rhetoric is symbolic. This is meaning letters, symbols, gestures, representations of like how you're presenting your message. So for me, my forward direct structure where I'm talking to you, I'm talking to the camera. And then I have my squishmallows, I have my kind of vibe. And then I'm very like forward, highly dependent on like crediting and essay format, like citation-esque style commentary. Amberlynn Reid is trolling, fluff content, kind of just a lot of nothingness in her delivery. Rhetoric involves an audience. This is dependent on the relationship of the rhetor and the audience. This is not always about what is said, but about what is interpreted from the aspect of the audience, which in the sake of Amber is trolling, lying about trolling, mukbangs, profiting off the trolling, getting mad when people claim she's profiting off the trolling, then later admitting to doing exactly that. Number 3 is rhetoric establishes what is probably true. So this is not always what is said. Again, it is what perceived through different proofs that they can find or different aspects of something. This is the thing. Rhetoric doesn't lie. People can attempt to present a rhetoric of lying, but then that's exactly that. Their position is that of someone who lies. Rhetoric is the determination of what is probably true. And it is shown that in rhetoric and through understanding of like critical discourse analysis and psychology and things like that, the truth kind of comes out at the end in something. Something slips. It's very rare that something doesn't slip. In the case of Amber, like I said, because of her incapability to remember her own shit, it slips pretty frequently. So 4, rhetoric is a theory that is inventive and analytic. This is why things like the cycle are able to be established. The cycle is a rhetoric analysis. It is a structuring of Amber's argumentative systems in how they relate to each other in a constant loop. Amber might want to say it's like crazy or demented or whatever. These are just perceptions that are forming naturally with people that someone has used some sort of analytical formation to kind of create a diagram for. That's about it. So we come to another aspect related to stasis. We have proof, which is the rhetoric examines persuasion. Persuasion must convince its listeners. Thus, persuasion must be used demonstrations or proof. And here's the thing. Because Amberlynn Reid has been known to lie so much, a lot of the reaction channels and the girl channels have a lot of proof and a lot of receipts in forms of different video clips, comments, Snapchat rants. And Amberlynn Reid puts out so much to seemingly draw in as much profit as possible that she's shooting herself in the foot because she's giving so much proof to the opposition. Now we have something called topoi. I don't know how to pronounce that properly because they're Greek words and the letters aren't the same when I try to pronounce them. The subject of all arguments are topics. So the term is topics in English. Kennedy defined a topos, place, or space where a speaker can look at available means of persuasion. We are forced to turn to Kennedy because Aristotle did not define topos, believing the word could be easily understood. Character 23, Book 2 of Rhetoric presents 28 of these commonplaces, or lines of argument that may be used. Speakers may employ any of these strategies to win an argument. Topoi provides arguments that can be used in situations and strategies to win certain things. So here are the 4 aspects of topic or topoi. So more or less, this is defined as if lesser of 2 things is true, the greater is as well. The example is, if my opponent raised taxes on the poor, he will surely raise taxes on the lower and middle class as well. Now, if the lesser of two things is true, the greater is as well. This kind of comes into the idea of Amberlynn being like, there are a few people who troll me. That means anybody who has legitimate criticism of me is also a troll. Because there are some criticisms that have lower validity, all of them will be. Then we have turning what has been said against oneself upon the one who said it. So this is defined as using the opponent's words against him or her. My opponent said last year that healthcare reform was not possible. Now she's arguing in favor of reforming healthcare. This happened a lot during Amberlynn Reid's cancer diagnosis, because Amberlynn Reid was both going to emergency rooms a lot for kind of lesser things, but also like denying advice from actual doctors that could save her life, even the things not related to weight. And once the diagnosis happened, it was like, well, you mentioned that I was going for no reason. So all of those times where there were certain things to be criticized for, you were wrong. Then we go into previous judgment. Assumes that reasonable people make similar judgments about similar issues. This is the biggest one. So my position has been consistent. I have always supported military action when it was multinational support. This is like the example that they have. So Amberlynn Reid's like, I always know I'm always right. You guys are haters and people support me and people are here for me. And therefore I'm right in my own judgments and my indignations. Consequence is the last part, which is looking at the consequences of an action to determine if it is desirable. So investing in higher education will result in economic return equal to 6 times the original investment. In this case, Amberlynn's consequence is, do I gain weight and troll to pull in as much money as possible? And this is coming to the fact that she has said, when I was a weight loss channel, I did not pull in a lot of money. Then all of a sudden, I posted mukbangs, and all of a sudden, I get money rolling in. So because of this, Amberlynn Reid has established that that is a positive consequence. And what they'll do is they'll kind of go into the cycle and like lose weight and try to kind of get back a sympathy audience in hopes of pushing out the haters. But then what happens is, because the haters are aware of the cycles, they stay. And then she's pushing out this more positive audience by delving back into these trolling consequences. Because these very like bizarre mukbangs that are very trolly are in themselves kind of bringing in new hate watches. Like they have the highest views. Like the eating 5,000 calories video is the highest amount of views she's gotten in a long time. So that is my rhetoric analysis of Amberlynn Reid. So we're going to sum it up really quickly, right? We looked at the aspects of rhetoric characteristics, symbolic, audience, truth, and analytics. Then we also looked at the 5 canons of rhetoric: invention, arrangement, style, delivery, and memory. These are all things that are used in argument. We have stasis, proof, and topoi or topics, and how those topics function. So in conclusion, as you can see from one of my various rhetoric topics, Amberlynn Reid is one of the best people to make one of these videos on. It is so interesting to see the different reactions in the ways that her hater audience has become very analytical and have a lot of rhetoric analysis on their own without being able to necessarily tie terms to it. And I think that Amberlynn was a very good subject for this video, and I thought it was really interesting. When I was scripting it out, I was like, oh, this is really interesting. So comment to anybody else that you think would be a good topic for this video. And don't forget, like, comment, subscribe on the way out, because I would love to do more rhetoric of videos. I have rhetoric of Gabby Hanna. I have one on James Charles. I have one on Shane Dawson, I believe. I have one on the Commentary Bros. I have one on Jimmy Snow. So I have like a decent amount of characters in this kind of series that I've developed. And if anyone wants any other ones, let me know. Anyways, Squish Gang says goodbye. Specifically this little bee. Happy Valentine's Day. We have little matching hearts. You guys have a great day wherever you are, and I'll see you around. Bye.
Don't mind me just soft launching these glasses real quick. I look like the professor that puts memes in his PowerPoints. I hope you all had a good break. You guys ever play Among Us? I guess you guys can call me your NFT. New favorite teacher.